Welcome back to the Kang Gang Pod. Guys, we did it.
We got him.
We got him.
We did it.
We are absolutely honored to have Sacramento royalty in the building today.
Where?
We are joined by the most iconic duo in the 916. These two have not only elevated the conversation around Sacramento sports, but have genuinely shaped the culture of what it means to be a Kings fan. What makes these two so special is not only the basketball knowledge or the broadcast talent, it is the authenticity, the grind, and the way they've built a community that feels like family. We are truly grateful to have the one, the only, Deuce and Mo!
Come on! Wow. Amazing.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, the cleanup's gonna be great. Also, dude, it is honestly insane to think like ChatGPT, like the intro.
Oh yes, he put that into ChatGPT.
He didn't write that, did he?
And
He
then
didn't
he
even
had
know.
and he was like, "Hey, what do we know about Deuce and Mo?"
Also, I love the fact that
yeah,
like
show it.
these are all the questions written out, handwritten out.
Now we got him on.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed by this.
Okay.
No, it's so nice. Nice handwriting.
Thank you.
Also, it just felt like we were at our funeral, but alive. Like hearing all those nice things.
Yeah.
That is so. Thank you. And then yes, I would want confetti at my funeral. So this is perfect.
There we go.
You always need to celebrate. But before we get into it, we do this with all of our guests. Ooh. I have some gifts for you guys.
Oh wow, the gifts now. Now we get this and okay.
Yes.
I mean,
At least we can do after covering you. And,
I love it. This is a dream.
Literally splashed.
we didn't have a trial run clearly with that, as you could tell.
Honestly, these ones are way more powerful than I mean.
it's stuck to the ceiling.
Yeah, no, there's like some on the fan too. Yeah.
Also, it was really loud.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
I know,
we were
nervous
super
about
loud.
I have it all over my face too. I like it. No, leave it. Leave
hat.
it. I love it.
We're just glad no one's eardrums.
I think it was worth it. I think it was totally
Well, at least
worth it.
we're hearing headphones though to protect it at least.
Yeah.
You
That
guys,
is true.
I'm jealous. So yeah, no, thank you.
I know you guys do the fog, but we like to make a bigger mess. Without further ado, I mean the gifts might be covered, but you guys get to choose who gets what.
Oh, okay.
Because
So I get to choose.
the power of choice.
I
But
love this.
I have for you both.
Are you?
In my
Are
opinion,
you kidding?
Stop.
in my opinion,
Are you kidding?
I believe these are the greatest Kings jackets in history, and it needs to go to you two.
I feel like
It
my
needs to.
heart is like hurting.
It feels
yeah.
like way too much.
Oh,
We got the blue
It's
and we
so
got the baby
pretty.
blue.
Wow.
So you guys get to decide who gets what,
Wow.
but those are going
oh,
to you two.
wait. Can I just put mine on?
Oh, so you already claimed that one.
Oh my God.
You've already.
The reflexes.
Wait, do you want? I don't.
No,
care.
no, I don't care. I love them both.
They're a little different.
think
They're a little
so.
different, but
Wow. Okay. It feels like way too much. This is like in the
As
original.
I put it on. Yeah, too much. I love this.
of course they're the originals. I would never do that.
It's just amazing.
Are you?
Because I know you guys don't have these, right?
No.
Okay. Just
No.
making sure. Just making sure. Oh, there's something in there. Not anymore.
Oh,
Someone's
Morgan thought, is
chapstick.
there another?
I think Maya wore that last time.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Are you kidding me?
This I feel. You guys, I'm
my-
overwhelmed. The confetti, the intro, the jacket. Like I'm.
All this guy right
that was
here.
the goal.
All this guy
That
right
was the
here.
goal.
Visionary right here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I am gonna have to take it off because it is a little toasty.
Yes, we actually have a fan. If
Yeah, we need to plug that in. Those
You can turn on that
Blow
fan at any
confetti
point. Oh,
even
that's
more.
true.
That'd be
We
a
did
tornado
not
of
think that
confetti.
through.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Oh my God, you guys.
Unbelievable.
Thank
Just a
you.
thank you for being here. Just a thank you for
Dude.
being
Yes.
here because this means a lot to us.
Awesome.
Yes.
Big role models for us.
I mean, I feel like we should have brought something.
I know. Now I'm feeling like this is. Oh God, we
You
suck.
guys
We
gave,
suck.
you guys
We
brought
suck.
yourself. That's all we needed.
Oh, we suck. Okay.
Can we
Okay.
get right into it?
Let's do it.
Let's dive right in, baby.
Yeah.
All right, Morgan, I got a question for you to start things off.
Yeah.
On February 15th, 2006, I'm taking you way back. You scored 25 points on 50% from the field in a 64 to 59 point victory over Grant High School. In the 2 years of varsity, according to Max Preps, you averaged 14.6 points. So I just have to say, can you talk to us about your basketball I'm going to call it a career. And who is your player comp?
Oh my God, this is my favorite podcast in the whole world. I always love talking about myself in basketball because I get to like talk about it like I was the best thing ever, even though I obviously wasn't. But like I hooped. I loved ball. I still love it. And on that game, I had 7 threes in that game.
Max Preps did not put that.
Yeah, I had 7 threes, and I played all 4 years on varsity. And it was some of the most challenging years of my life. I won't go into detail for this podcast. But there was just like coaches going to jail and like things like that, like very serious things. And I was 14 years old coming into high school, and I'll never forget these challenges being thrown at me and being like, no, this isn't going to stop me from playing. So anyway, I guess me as a basketball player, a comp, I mean, Deuce is going to have an answer, and he's going to have a few answers. And I think it's going to be anything from like Andre Miller to DeMarcus Cousins, because the combination of my handles and my slow game with my attitude.
Dude, she's a hothead playing. It's like relax, dude.
Okay.
And it's so easy to bait her, you know? You just get a little physical.
Tone setter.
It's called well, I don't know. I always say, I also had the most technical fouls my freshman year on varsity in the SFL, so in the Sierra Foot League.
As a freshman.
As a freshman, I just hated refs.
That's truly DeMarcus Cousins.
I know, it's so bad. I'll never forget when I even said the F word one time, and like they gave me a tee, and I was like, I didn't say it, and I tried like gaslighting like the officials, and it was just like, what are you doing as like 15-year-old or whatever I was at that point. So there was bad times, and then AAU basketball there was great times, because that's where I was trying to get like seen by colleges and everything. And I was seen by a few. And then once I was 17, I decided I didn't want to play anymore and I turned down some offers. And I know my parents are like, why'd we spend all this money? And then I ended up playing at Sierra College because I missed it. And they also were, I guess, recruiting me during my high school years, like, hey, if you want to come, be around home. And it was the best decision ever. We ended up second in the state of California my first year there, and it was awesome. And then I played some pro-am basketball in San Francisco because I thought I wanted to go overseas. And that was pretty much my career. I mean, like, wow. Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy or anything. I think a lot of people have my similar, like, oh yeah, an injury, or like I'm a 5'6" point guard. But the only thing was, basketball was never going to leave me. That was like my ultimate thing. And it hasn't. Like, it's still with me every single day. So
great shooter.
Oh, thank you.
Great passer.
Thank you.
Can't defend anybody.
Well, in high school, in high school,
I didn't see her in high school. I'm just talking about now when I've been around you. You're just not in basketball shape.
Thank you.
And Jesus. So like, I mean, you just run. Just like she can't keep up.
But like, if you run the floor though, and like,
I love being on her team, but it's also fun going up against her because you're like, oh, I'm just gonna make her move.
You know what I mean? How many threes I've popped in his face, like just out at Roosevelt Park. So like, why are we even saying this? So yeah, so
it's a battle of like which mental pretzel is gonna be like breaking.
I mean, for sure. For sure. I would like to say I'm like better now, like mentally with my game. I'm not. I still just get just as pissed off. And so I understand some of these passionate players that are out there. And I'm always like, you got to keep your cool. But I'm like, I never did. But I also couldn't become a professional, and like that was going to be part of it as well. Like if you can't keep your cool and your mental game cool, then you're probably not going to be playing at the highest of levels.
Wow. So you've obviously been a fan of talking since your first basketball days. Did your teammates early on ever, say you were going to be a broadcaster one day, or ever talk about that?
Oh yeah. It was, again, 15 years old at Granite Bay High School. We had a media program, and I know we were so privileged, so fortunate to have like this green screen room, a teleprompter. I fell in love, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing. But then there wasn't much representation of women in certain positions in sports broadcasting. So I was like, okay, I love basketball, but like it's all guys. So what am I going to do? And I was always like, maybe I can do like pop culture, like E-News or something like that, like red carpet. And then, I mean, that switched quickly, you know, where I realized like, no, I'm going to F this. I'm going to figure it out. I don't care who's there. And then more and more pioneers and women were there, and they have been there for a while, but they were promoted more and more, and they're getting the love that they deserve more and more. And it's like, without them, I would never be where I'm at. So
wow. Deuce, I want to transition into you really quick. I read that you used to do play-by-play commentary when you were a kid, and you would sit in front of the TV and you would film yourself. Is this true information?
I would record myself on like a tape recorder.
Oh,
I wish I had these, dude. I would love to hear. I would just watch a game and do play-by-play, or I do like mock talk shows. I do. When I was a teenager, see, here's break
it down.
Break it down. My life a little different, you know. Yeah. My dad was in and out of prison my entire life, so that was tough. Single mom, you know, and she was a young mom, so there was just a lot of chaos. Sports was always an escape, so I was obsessed with it. Like obsessed with going outside playing it, obsessed with watching it. I wanted to be in media. I was just obsessed with the idea of like radio and TV and broadcasting. And the Kings, when I was like in my early teens, were amazing. I mean, we're talking about early 2000s, and I was captivated. I'm like, I want to do this here. I want to keep doing this. And so, yeah, I was on message boards all the time.
You also said it was always your escape too, from that reality of like, oh, my dad sucks, and like my life is just kind of difficult. And so that was and what a good time to have that escape to be
there's actually good basketball. Not just like pain of watching losing. And so I was on like message boards all the time. I was trying to find ways to get like internships, even though I knew teenagers couldn't really get an internship. I also, my freshman year, I tried out for basketball at Del Campo, got cut. I never tried out again. My dad went back to prison, and it's one of my big regrets. Because I play. I was good enough to play.
He didn't have anyone pushing him or saying like,
hey, do this. Yeah. So, but with that, I found like my love for like, I knew I wanted to be in the business. Like I'd be in the English class. We'd have free rides. I'd write about game recaps every day. And one of my teachers encouraged me. It was like, hey, like you should be on the school newspaper. So I started writing for the newspaper. I somehow was able to shadow one day at KHTK when I was like 16.
Oh, that's sick.
And that's early.
And shout out KHTK.
And they let me stick around on like an unofficial internship. This would not fly today.
No.
Oh yeah.
No paper. There's no paperwork. There's no. I would go in after school and be there like from 4 to 9 screening phone calls. On Fridays, I'd go 4 to midnight, and I would just I'd just soak it up. I'd just sit there and just be quiet and just watch how everything worked. And then out of high school, I got hired on part-time running the soundboard. So I know I just hit a lot there. No. My point is, I knew at a young age what I wanted to do, and
there you go.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's incredible. I mean, knowing that you guys both wanted to go into this field so early on I think it's a blessing to know, and to be there now, especially. But let's talk about after high school. I also read that you guys went to Sac State, and then after there, you guys left the 916. Can you talk about your guys' journey once you left the city?
Yeah.
Well, she left before.
I did. Yeah. So I left. I went Sierra College, and then when I got shoulder surgery, I was going to go for a second year back to Sierra College, and my coach, Brandy, you were horrible at times. And by the way, love her now. But she would like yell at me coming back from surgery, like, cause I couldn't do an overhead pass. And it was like, if you can't do it, then get off the court. And it's like, what? Like I need to. So anyway, so instead of doing a second year at Sierra College with that team, I ended up moving to Los Angeles, San Diego and in Los Angeles, wanted to do TV, blah, 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 worked like 4 different jobs. That
was your E-News, like that's what you were trying to do then, right?
Yes, that was more that because I thought it was LA that I could like kind of get in there. And I mean, I was around a lot more of that and it was just insane. So when I was in Los Angeles, I'll never forget just thinking like, oh, can I do anything here? And my dad would always say like, Sacramento has TV stations too. Sacramento has this. And my appreciation for understanding what I could actually do and succeed in Sacramento just wasn't there because I was like 19. 19. And then once LA just like chewed me up and like killed me, it was just awful, inexpensive. I moved back to Sacramento, and that's when I got an internship with ABC 10 and KHTK. And so, yeah, that was my time out. And then, but guess how I got the internship? This is where the Sac State thing comes in.
Oh, yeah?
I had to be in a journalism course or a college course to get the internship with ABC 10. It was News 10 at the time. So that was the only reason why I went to Sac State. I didn't graduate from Sac State. Deuce actually did all the graduating, and Stinger's up.
That's right.
I fake it.
Here we go.
Half stinger. Yeah.
I got the double stinger too. I got the double stinger.
I transferred from Sac State to SDSU, so I have like a half stinger as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I got my master's, and then I'm currently getting my teaching credential right now at Sac State. So yeah,
Stingers everywhere.
You get the double.
I do get the double. Yeah. It's like the Brian Windhorst double stinger when I go this way.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. But so that was my journey outside of Sacramento, and thank God I'm back.
I was going to school while working at KHTK. Like I went from part-time, I got full-time at KHTK. I was working behind the scenes, running the soundboard, which is like the mixer, firing off commercials, like producing all that stuff. And I was like 22, and a new station was launching in San Francisco, 95.7 The Game. And they hired the Rise guys, two of the guys from the Rise guys.
Yeah, right.
And I worked on that show behind the scenes, and they had recommended me, and I got a job to be their producer in San Francisco. So I had a semester left at Sac State, and I was like, what am I going to transfer? Like, what do I do? Dude, I reached out to like a couple professors. I was like, here's the situation. I have this job opportunity. I can't pass it up. I don't want to transfer. Shout out to Tim Howard, who was like a PR person, one of the PR teachers there, professors. He's like, this is more important than what you're going to learn here. We'll figure it out. So I did like a couple online courses. I did like a special project for him, and I was able to do my last semester in San Francisco without going to Sac State. It was kind of crazy. So that was awesome. And then, the job was just overwhelming. It was fun. I love working with the Rise guys, and like the boss in San Francisco was like this high pressure situation. It was like, you have to book 5 guests a day. And I'm like, I'm not chasing around guests. Like, we're doing shows. We're just trying to have fun. And I got to a point, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I just quit. I had nothing lined up, came back to Sacramento, and just tried to figure it out.
How long was that period in San Francisco?
Just like a year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I quit after a year and came back. Came running home.
And wait, when did you come back though? Like it was 2012.
2012 I came back.
Yeah, but like what month? Do you remember?
May, maybe?
Because then we ended up meeting
at that
for the
media
first
day.
time,
Yeah.
October 2012.
Yeah.
So it was like literally like he was just coming back and I was within these internships. And so it's like, it's just crazy. It's like, all right, that journey started then, and with KHGK and everything, and around that time.
So you guys first met in 2012, and it was at the KHTK studio. And did you guys have a show then?
Well,
So we met at Media Day in 2012, and then
at the old practice facility.
Yeah, and then we started, that year going to games all the time. She's at games all the time, and I was like, you should intern, like.
Yeah,
you should come over there for an internship too. Like learn the sports.
For radio.
Like you should learn it. So she
for radio is
started
what he said.
I did not say that. At the time, I was doing a show with Jay Ross. Yep. Jason Ross, a midday show, and then she was coming on as an intern, and then like there was the management at KHK was just like there's no management. We kind of did what we wanted.
I didn't have to sign papers.
Yeah, so it's like just come in and like, hey, open your mic. We'll just try to have fun, and that's kind of what we did. And we kind of lived. That year was like living the saga of are the Kings gonna stay? Like there was just so much craziness. Like doing shows every day where, I thought I was doing a sports radio show, but it morphed into like every day we were talking about. Is this team staying or going? We'd look at these breadcrumbs like, I think they're staying. Like we had like a great belief. I get chills thinking about it because we went to New York.
Well, really quick though, I didn't make a dime while with that internship, and the Kings, they were going to have the Board of Governors meeting, or the NBA was in New York, and KHK was willing to send Deuce, like just like barely, like give him any money.
I had to pitch it, yeah.
Yeah, he had to pitch it, and I said, no, I want to go. And I had like no money, but I took all my savings, and we ended up going to New York to cover this. And it was just like one of those cool career moments of why like you believe in yourself, and you sometimes take the risk and put the money in and whatever you need to do. And so when we did that, like, that was huge, I think, for us, the station, just being able to cover it on that level.
Yeah. So we did that show, and then the King stayed, and we had a lot of fun on that show.
So wait, so when you were in New York, were you guys covering like the situation that was happening here, just on a
So they had the
scale?
Board of Governors meeting, that's when all the owners came to like talk about the situation. David Stern was there, and it was just like a big update on where things stood with Sacramento. It was like a big decision thing. So.
And you'd have certain credentials, and I didn't have a credential because, again, I just flew myself out there and was like, no, I'm covering this shit. And so I remember ABC 10, News 10 at the time, one of their reporters was there, and they technically couldn't allow me to come in, but he was like, just walk in with me, just walk in. I just walked in with confidence and like would get in and would be at the, like, you know, be able to cover the pressers in those meetings and stuff. So
Yeah, it's crazy thinking about that time too, because I'm like, wow, that was a long time ago now, and there's just so many fans who like they're too young to even remember that time. Sure. But I'll never forget that day when that Woj tweet came out, and it was like 1st and goal at the 1.
Yep.
Like it fell over.
Well, you might want to explain it because these guys are super young.
Well, the thing is, though, you got to think though, when it's 1st and goal at the 1, you think about that Super Bowl where they hand off the ball to Marshawn Lynch, right? And then they decide, you know what, we're going to call a play call and just see if we can get it to Doug Baldwin, and then Malcolm Butler intercepts it. That's pretty much what the Kings' whole situation was they were Malcolm Butler, and like, you know what, we're just going to step in and just not make this happen.
I just remember seeing Grant and Jerry on TV,
Yeah.
crying, and it was just so emotional.
Well,
Yeah.
just all those times. It was like Anaheim, Virginia Beach, Seattle.
It was the second stint too, and that was what makes it even more crazier. We were like out of 2011. We were like, oh crap, you know, this is what's going to happen. We were like, okay, we got a year. It was Marcus Thornton, which was super fun, and then and then a year later, we're like, oh, here we go again, you know. So it was crazy, just kind of like seeing that as like we were all in high school at that time.
Yes.
And that was a moment where it was just like, man, what's gonna happen? What is really going on? What is gonna be like the thing that's gonna really just be that? And it was like, dang. And then all of a sudden, like last minute, we pull off the interception. So it was like, hey.
RC, it took Deuce and Mo forcing their way over to New York.
That is true. Listen.
Saw you guys.
Malcolm Butler appeared in Deuce and Mo.
Actually, it's funny because when Woj was reporting on the King stuff, this is early 20s, dude. So I was a little more brash, you know, a little more like probably an ass on air sometimes, you know, a little intense.
I mean, immature.
And
yeah.
Woj, I was always trying to get him on the show, and I had his number from like booking him in the past, and he would never like respond after the Seattle thing. And so I like mentioned on air, I'm like, hey, Woj is refusing to come on. Like, he's not responding. Like, everyone sent him tweets. So people started tweeting Woj about it, and then he texted me and was like, hey, you got to stop. And to this day, I feel sick about it because I'm like, oh, God, this guy was like a legend as a newsbreaker.
Now, like, think about if he was getting all those tweets or whatever, he would not even care.
I know. It was just a different era. It was just a different era of Twitter.
Oh, yeah, Twitter. Everybody was just going, like, after, like, all these people. Adam Schefter was getting bombarded by Bills fans, and it was like,
it sounds like you got the first wash bomb. Directly over text.
Dude, yeah. He's like, you got to stop that.
You're like, okay. You're like, I'll take it back.
Yeah.
I'm just an immature, whatever year old.
That is crazy. So, like, after New York, you guys get back, and then what did the radio station feel once you guys were covering everything that was going on?
I don't think anyone cared.
Yeah,
I mean,
really?
Here's my thing is like, I've always looked at it like, okay, we may not have the support like as a station, like the management there is not great or whatever. Like, what can we control? Oh, they're not. The good thing about bosses who maybe are not like hands-on and they're not paying attention, yeah, you may not get the love, but guess what? If you can kind of do what you want.
Yes.
So all we did was like, hey,
Freedom.
let's do what we think is right. We'll try different things that people don't normally do, and most of all, have fun. So
it was just
I didn't really
don't get
care.
in trouble.
To me, it was like, let's go out, like let's build relationships, let's evolve, let's try different things. I was very prideful about that station because I grew up listening to it as a kid. And I was like working there, so for me, it was like, all right, like how do we elevate the station to the next level because like, you know, it's kind of old
and
now.
They
and
didn't
we need
give a shit though.
Yeah. So that was my whole focus was like, how do we just have fun on the radio every day?
Essentially like your first steps in building your guys' community, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
People gravitating toward your personality, you able to express yourself.
Yeah, it is funny though, because like, I think it's like Deuce said, like both him and I, we take, and other people are like this too. Like they take so much pride in their work, but it's a lot of people, what people have taught me over this time is like, oh, but work doesn't give a damn about you. And it's like, honestly, the truth until you find those good places. Like I feel differently now about like a place like NBC. I've never felt that way about a place in media growing up. And so like when they actually care about you and you put in the work and they care about you, it's the coolest thing. With some of these places growing up, we'd put in the work, they didn't care. It was great still for us and our experiences, the way that we were trying to grow as professionals, and it still benefited us in so many different ways.
So when you were realizing that you weren't getting the support you needed and you guys were developing the way you were, is that kind of like that in that time period, was that when you guys thought maybe we should, you know, branch out, or were you guys
No, because what happened was, so we did the midday show with Jason Ross, and we were building something. And at the time, there was a morning show that was struggling. They'd put together this guy named Keith Brooks and Carmichael Dave together, and just wasn't clicking or whatever. Like the audience wasn't responding. So we had a new boss. The new boss's idea was like, hey, like, we're going to take you and Morgan and put you in the mornings with Dave. You know, mind you, we have a great show with Jason Ross. It's like we're breaking up something great. And so kind of got forced into this like situation with Dave. And it just, I had known Dave for a long time then, but like as far as doing a show together, it just wasn't. It wasn't a thing. The chemistry wasn't there. Like
the work ethic wasn't there with everyone.
Yeah, so it was just, it just didn't work. And, you know, I remember like going to management at the time going, hey, like, I don't have to stay in the mornings because everyone wants to be on the morning show. I don't really care about that. It didn't matter what time I was on.
We made more money and everything. And we were like, we don't care.
I don't care. I was like, hey, just put us, we tried it. It doesn't work. Just put us back with J Ross and tinker, you know, move some things around. And, never happened. And then April 1st, 2016, you know, after a show ends, like I go on my email and my email's not working. And then Morgan's like, my email's not working. I'm like, yeah, we're getting fired. Mm-hmm. So we got let go April 1st, 2016. And, you know, it was such a weird, just kind of crazy, you know, like expect that to happen.
It's weird on
especially when you don't do anything wrong and on April 1st.
Yeah, on April Fool's, it's like, oh man, that's like the double whammy right there.
No, you know why? Because I'm like hitting on my friends, like telling them what happened, or family, and they're like, okay,
they didn't believe us.
That's a good one. No one believed us. Even I tweeted it that day, like thanks, like some nice message, and everyone's like, okay, dude.
They got mad. People got mad at us,
and then it was like we weren't on. So then that's when, like, okay, so to answer your question, when did we realize like, oh, we had to go a different route? It was like we were kind of forced into it. I didn't know what was going to happen, and we went, let's launch a podcast. And
like no one's going to take away our joy, you know, like and our money. Yeah,
we
but not
decided
our joy.
To do like, we were doing like a sports podcast at the time. We'd go live on a MacBook, you know, like we didn't know what we were doing, but we're just trying stuff. And that was kind of our first step.
After
2 weeks,
yeah. 2 weeks, we were just like, all right, how do we had some friends.
We weren't ready.
we ordered equipment. We had some like engineer friend like teach us how to use a mixer.
My sister created a logo for free. Like she's a graphic designer.
We had a lot of support.
So much support from like my family, a few friends. And it was just like the way that people rallied around us. It was the coolest thing in the world. Now, we didn't make money or get demonetized right away because we had to grow, and it's not like we were like the most popular people in Sacramento. You know, you're doing sports radio at the time. You're going to have a small fan base, listeners, however you want to call it. And then to bring them over from what they're used to into something else, like we knew it was going to take time, and my God, did it take time.
And at the same time, like we started doing stuff on Good Day Sacramento. Like Good Day, she had been doing stuff in the past. But Good Day reached out to me like, hey, do you want to try doing TV? I'm like, yeah, sure. I wanted to, but they gave us a chance. I tried out, and I was on that show for a while. But the podcasting, like, we eventually, like, you know, life happens, job changes happen, you're trying to navigate things. Like, we stopped kind of doing the podcast. We had like went from like every day to like every once in a while,
every week.
Yeah, and then we like took time off. What changed everything for us was during the pandemic.
Yeah,
we were walking one day and we were like, we started doing the podcast again, and we were like trying to come up with ideas for King season. And I was like, dude, why don't we just go live after every game? Mm-hmm. Like, let's just try it. Yeah. I'm like, because in my head, growing up as a kid, I would be in my bed listening to 11:40 late at night after Kings games, because like they're reacting to
people
it.
Would call in.
People are calling it, you know, like it's just reacting to the games. And that's kind of been lost now with where radio is at this point. And so I'm like, let's just try it. And so we started doing it, and it's like, all right, started building. And it was during the pandemic season, you know, you're just, okay, let's keep doing it. And we just saw it grow and grow and grow. And that's why we've done it every single game since.
Every single game since.
5 seasons now.
Five full seasons.
Yeah. Like, have not missed a game.
Oh my, and let's
even after like you guys doing a post game, you're like, hey, let's just like have our laptops ready to go. You're in studio. You're like, boom, you're ready.
Yeah,
You're ready.
Yeah. And well, that's the other crazy thing. Like, so I mean, not only were we doing this like at the start, you know, during the pandemic scene, there were like stretches where the Kings lost 9 in a row twice.
Think about going on.
And so it was
after
fun.
the 5th loss.
Right.
And like, what do I talk about?
Oh man, that season will always have like stuck in my brain.
Oh my God. How many times, I bet if I looked up old episodes, it'd be me like, Morgan, at some point, like, do you go with Kyle Guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I was I was probably too mean, but I was so sick of watching Corey Joseph. I was just like,
you were mean about Kojo, and he's a really good person.
And then once I got Tyrese, I'm like, why is Tyrese coming off the bench?
That was the surprising thing to me was Tyrese not starting that entire year and him coming off the bench and being like, hey, I've proven myself. Especially towards like the later half of the season when they were not competing. I'm like, dude, you have Tyrese Halliburton starting, and then he goes off in his second year and then builds, and then boom, we trade him right away. So it's like, come on, man, you know?
And that was our content.
Yeah, so it was fun though, because it was, you know, I think that's the other thing. We're all Kings fans, so we've seen like the highs and lows, mainly lows. You guys experience more, because you guys don't have memories of early 2000s, really, or kind of
a little bit.
Born in 97.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was born in 96.
So imagine I'm in 5th grade when Jason Williams is a rookie, and like just seeing that, like I fell in love.
Right?
Like I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before, you know.
Best thing that ever happened to my life.
Yeah, it was transformative. Yeah. So
Chris Webber for me. But
anyway, the lows. There so many lows in the last 20 years or whatever, where like you just know how to deal with it. Like when other fan bases talk shit about the Kings on social media, I'm like, do you think that's going to impact us? Like we've all seen bad basketball. Like
we've heard the noise.
We know.
We've been through the dance before.
Yeah.
It's not our first rodeo,
right?
Or our 30th rodeo.
No. Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're doing the podcast, and NBC started seeing what we were doing, and Morgan had tried to bug them before about doing stuff for them, and I think they saw the community we're cultivating. They gave her a chance, and then eventually gave me a chance. And I always tell people, without the podcast and the community behind it, we're not doing TV stuff.
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
So before you guys got the NBC jobs, you guys got Stockton Kings.
Oh yeah,
we've been doing Stockton Kings,
and the color commentary. So where did that fit in on the timeline? Was that?
So that was, I was working on the Kings radio broadcast, and Morgan, I think, was doing like stuff for Junior Kings at the time.
So what happened was after we got fired from radio 2016, I was doing Good Day Sacramento. I was I guess I don't need to go into detail, but like I experienced like harassment and bullying and different things. And I was like, I don't think I like this life in TV if this is what it's going to be like, because I experienced that in LA. And then the fact that I got a little here, I was like, no, that's only supposed to be for SoCal, not NorCal, like what the hell? And so I was feeling it. And you were only getting paid hourly. Like unless you're ESPN or national, you weren't going to make enough money to keep a roof over your head, especially because you had to pay for your own medical insurance, all these different things, right? Like it just added up, car payments, all those. I was like, what am I supposed to do? So then I I was offered by the Kings a junior Kings manager job, which is like junior NBA youth basketball. And it was a price I couldn't refuse, which I mean, now would probably be way more money now. But at that time I was just like, holy crap, with benefits, like that was what sold me.
Benefits
right?
easily.
And so I was like, yes, sign me up, whatever. And so once I started doing that, I'll never forget, it was so fun working with kids within the community. It was such a cool job, but something was missing in my life. And this was when I realized how obsessed I was with broadcasting and how much I loved it. And it was in my blood, like basketball was in my blood. And that's when the Stockton Kings then were moving from Reno and going to Stockton.
They were the Bighorns, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they had these openings. And I'll never forget, I told Deuce, I was like, hey, I want to be Doris Burke one day, but I've never done color, so I should go for the sideline job. That's what the first thing, like, again, women in this business, believe that you can do anything from the start.
That is true.
Thank you.
We have a phenomenal women audience here on the KGP.
Hell yes. No, it's like, just believe in yourself. And so Deuce went for the play-by-play. I was like telling them, yeah, I could do sideline, blah, blah. They came to me and said, we want you to do color. And I said, holy crap. Like, yes, I can. And then Deuce and I have videos somewhere of Deuce and I practicing play-by-play and color before the first season even started, because I wanted to record it so then we could watch back.
And that's the other thing. Like, I'd never done a play-by-play before.
Thank you.
Like, that was the other, some of this business is luck too, right? Like, no doubt about it. But
where you are, timing. Yes.
I had never done TV before doing TV, and someone luckily gave me an opportunity to do that. And then same with play-by-play. I'd never done play-by-play besides what I talked about earlier, recording myself. So to get that opportunity, and I'm sure like listening back to how we were year one versus now, it's probably like, oh my God, can't even listen to that. But I just feel lucky that people have trusted us along the way. Same with NBC. Like, there was a lot of pushback, I think, from voices that were like, we need to have like experienced broadcast team with like a former player. And shout out to the boss at NBC who are like, let's do it differently. These two people know the game. They're passionate about the game.
Know the fan base.
They've got good chemistry. Like, let's put them on and see what it's like. And it worked out. And it's because of their belief. And it's so freeing as people who are trying to grind in the business. Like, when you have people who believe in you and that like trust you and like, hey, we want you guys to be yourself on air. It's just like, oh my God.
It's freeing.
It is very freeing.
Yeah. So anyway, that timeline, when we started doing play-by-play in color, we were both still doing something within the Sacramento Kings organization, doing play-by-play in color, kind of doing our podcast. And then And then
the pandemic hit. And then it's like, what are we going to do in life? I don't know.
Pandemic hit. We called the final professional, I guess, sport or game that was anywhere in America.
Yeah, because the night so the Pelicans Kings game, that
national TV, ESPN. Yeah,
I was so bummed about missing that game because we were in Stockton doing a game. And so we're getting all these updates about like, hey, they're shutting down Golden One Center, no games being played. I'm sitting here, I'm like, because we don't know what's going on with the pandemic, but I'm going, why are we doing this game right now?
Yeah.
If it's not safe to do in Sacramento, are we safe? I'm like shaking hands with people. I'm like, should I be, what do I do?
Yeah.
You just book it and then you go home.
Yeah, no, literally. That's what we did. We called the game and then we went home.
Yeah.
And then the world shut down.
That was because like the Kings game was shut down, and you guys
had to call ours
in the middle of your game.
Yeah, just wild. But yeah, I mean, I think
crazy.
Thinking back, all your guys' questions trigger these things. But it's just like, I had dreams to be in this business, and to be doing it in my hometown is like amazing. You can't predict what's going to happen. I would not have predicted it to go this way. No. Like, oh, wow. Like, there are moments in my life where I feel like I'm going in the right direction. And then you think back, you're like, I mean, you were working, but I don't know that you were going in the right direction. There's like little things that happen. It's crazy how like the pandemic impacted so many people in a negative way. And I feel fortunate enough, it led to like me really thinking about things,
sitting back,
talking, allowed creativity to flow a little bit, to take chances. And in some ways, I'm like, I don't know we would be where we are right now if the pandemic didn't happen, which is crazy.
Like, just the timing of all of it, to be able to like sit still with our thoughts of where we want to go create.
It's so interesting hearing like in both your guys' careers the little hiccups that would come and just the things that how it got so good after those hiccups.
Yeah. And it's the business is a grind, but I love it, and we're still not where we want to be yet, but it's like I think that's good. It's like keeps you going and motivated. Like, how do we grow our channel more? How do we we want to be full-time broadcasters, doing play in color. How do we do that? It's all like trying to chase that next thing and grow and evolve.
And he says chase that next thing, but like, let me tell you, we have perspective with any little freaking win. And it's like, because you have to in this world and in this life and in this career. And so, like any hiccup, like it's like, if it was easy, everyone would do it kind of thing, And like, how many men say to me, like, oh, I could totally do play by play and blah, 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 and do your job and da, 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 da. And like, those are the mean ones. There's other ones where I'm like, I bet you could, like, that's awesome. But some of those I'm like, oh, but can you connect with people? Can you build relationships? Can you be around a team? There's so many different elements to actually seeing success in one of these roles. And so, we still have a lot of growing to do, and we're excited to keep grinding.
It's all professionalism. It's literally the whole thing. We talked about this a lot. And one of the things is like, no matter what you do in your job, whether you do this or you're being a teacher and all this stuff, like the ability to work with people and ability to work in a professional environment shows, and that is workability, all those type of things, and that like shows in a lot of like what Deuce and Mason do, Deuce and Mo do, and so that's like, it's really cool.
Deuce and Mason,
and then Morgan and Reagan. So that's that too.
But it's not just that you're good at what you do, which you are. You guys are just awesome people, and I feel like that's where.
Well, thank you.
That's kind of you to say, and no, I think, like, look. Some people are like, you're really nice to me, and I'm like, you haven't seen me like verbally abuse someone that has come at me, you know what I mean? Like, I can be that person. Like, if you are a mean person, or you're an evil person, or you don't treat someone as an equal, like, you're dead to me. Like, I will be a pit bull on your ass, but ultimately, just be kind to everyone. It's just, life's way more fun that way anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, in this business, it's interesting because there are a lot of egos too. But that's why I respect so many of like the people that we've gotten to work with over the years. And you're just like, I'm so grateful that I haven't had to be around like egomaniacs all the time. There's insecurity. It's tough because people, as a broadcaster, you want to like get to the next level, and people can be ruthless. And my approach has always been, you know what, like,
do it the right way, have
fun, treat people well, build relationships. Like we talked about our show with Jason Ross, one of the best human beings ever, the G-Man, Gary Gerald, who's
legend,
but he's just such great people. Jerry Reynolds, I've had so many over the years, and I feel fortunate that we've had that.
So it seems like we covered a lot just now.
Yeah.
But,
I know, sorry.
So you worked for the Stockton Kings. You were doing some stuff with the Kings at the time. The podcast was going. COVID happened. So you guys were balancing like 3 to 4 different jobs, traveling an hour distance to Stockton to go cover the games, do stuff with the Kings. So you guys have been doing this grind for a very, very long time. And it keeps elevating as we're recording now. We'll get into, the recent news later, but that grind that you guys have been doing, it seems like you guys are willing to do it because there's like this end goal in sight. Like you guys just said, we still haven't hit there, which I'm shocked that you guys aren't at the goal.
Yeah.
The fact that there's still more is just inspiring as well.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Thanks.
I want to ask you guys about when you were first working with the Kings. Who were like your first initial people to kind of like take you under your wing as kind of like showing you the ropes, just to be like that mentor for you guys?
It's just
like in the industry.
Yeah, because a lot of things blend together, so it would definitely be, I guess, in the industry. I tell a lot of people this, that, and like, I hate doing this in front of him, but like, Deuce for me was literally that. I'll start with him, but then I have other people. But Deuce for me was the first like ally for me, and he was someone that was willing to take me under his wing and make me better from the start. Literally, when I was interning, remember how we said there was like no rules, no anything? Deuce would make me go home and write an essay on Moses Malone, some other old former basketball player, whoever else, because he wanted me to understand and respect the old part of the game, because I told him, like, growing up, like, none of that retained with me, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you need to know. And you need to know what they did. You need to go here. Let me tell you a story by John Feinstein with Red Auerbach and Bill Russell. And like, he made me read that. Like, he gave me assignments to make me better from the day I met him. And then on top of that, he was willing to be so inclusive with all the other men that he knew in this business, because a lot of the time, guys, I was the only woman in the room. A lot of the times, one of two, you know? And I know for some, they just like, they're like, that wouldn't be intimidating for you. It's just, you know how it is. If you're walking into just a room full of like women, there's also going to be this disconnect at first. It's how you disarm them. It's how you talk to them. Or maybe you have someone that's there that is helping you. And Deuce was always there. So then once Deuce came around, got to ditch his ass. And then G-Man was by far one of the most special human beings that had ever like talked to me about career stuff, about Kings, about anything in life. And like, we are now like, he to me is like family. Like I love him I text him, I love him. Like I love this man. Jason Ross was another one that was just like there from the start. A man that had been there forever in this business, has never changed his personality. Like, has always just been the kindest, most perfect human in the world. Jerry Reynolds, I know Deuce mentioned that, was another guy that would sit on the side. I would tell him how I want to be a color analyst. He'd give me tips, whatever else, you know, like that was just how I built relationships with different people. And I'm probably not giving enough credit to some others, but like those were the mains from the start.
Wow.
Yeah, I have pretty much the same. And then like working on the Rise guys, I think I started working on their show like 19, 20, you know, and then going to San Francisco with a couple of them. So like Mark Kryler, who used to be a columnist at the Bee, he was on that show. Whitey Gleason, who was on that show, and Whitey now does a show on KHGK in the afternoons. But I learned a lot just from observing too, you know, like just seeing like what not to do from people, and then like what others do. Like, oh, I love that, you know, and seeing someone like Whitey's creativity and how he would empower like this young early 20s kid that's still learning to help out on the show, you know, it would give you the confidence. And like someone like Jerry Reynolds, Jerry Reynolds is one of my favorite people to talk to. Like, I feel like he's like my grandpa, because I can just call him and we just talk basketball for 25 minutes, you know. But they're just, I'm same people as you, man. G-Man, Jason. I've worked with so many people. And that's the other thing. Like, I started in this industry, I guess, when I was 16, like as an intern. I'm 36 now. Yeah.
You've known these people for a long time.
I've been 20 years on this like journey, which is crazy because I still feel young. It's
incredible.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how much it's changed too. But I'm always grateful for the people who've helped.
The empowerment that they've given us throughout the years has been tremendous. And just, we're so fortunate to have that in our career.
That's incredible.
So now that you guys are all in on NBC Sports, we see you on TV, pregame, postgame, halftime show. We love it. The podcast has been killing it. Rounding up on 21,000 subscribers, road to 100K. You know, if I had more accounts, I'd keep subscribing as much as I can. We got to get you there. But so now that you've been in these roles for such a long time, and like you guys feel like you're still like, we think, you've mastered the craft, but I'm sure you guys think, there's still more to learn and everything. But you guys have done a lot for the community, a lot for, just covering the team and the sport. What are your favorite parts about your current life in these two facets of your life?
Ooh, favorite part. It's tough because it's something I want to work on, but you don't get to work on this, and I'm fine with it until I get to, would be balance. It's not even like the cliche like work-life balance. No. Because like this career, it's like, it is life and I love it. And I'm so glad it is part of my identity. But I hope I can find that balance with everything, and one day like not feel like I have to do 100 different things. But I would say like my favorite things about everything right now with the podcast, we get to have creative freedom whenever we want, however we want. the people that listen and follow to our podcast. And by the way, when I talk about our podcast, there are much bigger podcasts out there in the world and all these different things. I never go like, oh my gosh, like we have to get millions one day or anything. No, because like the people, the community that we do have surrounding us, joining us, supporting us every single night or whenever, I've never experienced anything like it. And it's one of the most special things that I will cherish forever and ever. And that's why, I just don't ever want to like be done or lose the podcast in any way, shape, or form because of that. So I would say like that's my favorite thing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we first started the podcast, it was sports, and the shift since the pandemic of just going, no, Kings and basketball. I love it because back in the day, it's like when you did a sports show every day, you felt like you had to like be at least I did. I felt like I didn't try to know everything, which is an impossible task. And that's why a lot of people who go on like the talking heads, like it's a lot of hot take stuff. There's not a lot of depth. And so I love the fact that like we can dig deep into things with the Kings, or other teams. And it's fun just to focus on basketball. I'd say the other thing, I love learning, and we were talking about this the other night, like just the fact that like there's so much about basketball I still don't know. I've been watching it all my life, but like with the last 4 or 5 years, because I've been so focused on it, I'm seeing the game differently. I'm understanding. I give actually Mike Brown a lot of credit too, because Mike was so good about explaining things and teaching, even on the side. He's like, yeah, this is what we're trying to do here. Mm-hmm. And then you're like watching a game, so you're like, oh shit, I'm noticing this live, And so I don't know, for someone that loves learning, it's just been so fun to just learn the game at a deeper level, but also like humbling where you're like, God, I don't know this.
Yeah.
I need, and
or
so,
like an action that is called out. And
yeah.
you're like, wait, how do I still not know that one? Or like, yeah. And it's because, and again, I don't expect everyone to know. That's where we want to be with our basketball knowledge and our lives. So
yeah. And so like the podcast, I love the podcast. Like she loves the podcast. I love the podcast. Last year was, I think, tougher to do the podcast in so many ways because there's like expectations with the team and like just feeling like the energy of them not living up to those expectations. It was a bummer, and it's just like, here we go again. Like, what do we say? I mean, we're talking about the same things, but what we'd always talk about is like, if we do a podcast, and we don't do this every night, but for the most part we do, we need to, even if it's like a bad loss, we need to have fun. We need to laugh a little bit.
Mm-hmm. We just need to get confetti, guys.
Well, and you mentioned it right away. You guys like have fun. And one of my personal favorite things that you do is you always come up with song creativities. And so my question is to Morgan Reagan.
Ooh.
What's your thought process through it? How do you go and figure out like what ties into the Kings? How do you tie who they're playing against, and how do you tie it all into a song like between all of those three facets?
I love that the musical person here, like I don't even know how to like what to call
professional musician. Yeah. Music teacher, professional musician.
Musical genius. Just appropriately.
That's Elton John right there.
I'm so sorry, Sir Elton John. I love that you're asking me because like you're probably going to like cringe when you hear these things.
No, not even close.
Well, let's just talk. Some of it is because I'll be like, Morgan, we need a song tonight.
Oh yeah. I love it. Deuce wants to give himself credit, but it's so true.
But I feel bad because sometimes I'll put pressure on like, Morgan,
it's 24 hours.
Like, we got
24 hours. And so
I have this idea. How about this? Go work with it.
What I will try and do is make something more evergreen rather than like for the moment of that game, right? But when Deuce said, hey, Doug is going to win, this is going to be a 7th straight game, like for Big Purple Beam. I'm acting like people know it. He's like
number one on Apple Music right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, hey, it's going to be the 7th game, so like, or 7th win, 7th straight win, whatever. And I was like, okay. And I'm like I always try to think of like a relevant song because I would rather go into like give me a song from Cats the musical. Like I would love to make up a song to that, But,
banger musical.
See? But then so many people would be like, what? Like, what? So I tried going for a relevant song, whatever. or something that's easy for me to sing. That's the other thing. He'll throw songs at me and be like, can't you just put this in this song? And I'm like, bro, I don't have that voice, like all the way up here or whatever. So anyway, with something like Chapel Roan with Big Purple Beam, I was driving home from San Francisco and he goes, no pressure, but think of a song. Bye. Bump. And I'm driving and I'm just like, oh God. So I put on Chapel Roan and I kind of know the lyrics and I have the lyrics up. And that's when I just, for some reason, like Big Purple Beam, like a child can think of that. You know what I mean? Like Big Purple Beam, like it was just easy. And I was like, ha ha, the syllables. I always go with syllables.
That's a huge thing.
Thank
it's a
you,
huge
musical
thing.
genius. Thank you. Yeah.
Lines up with rhythm.
Yes. So I always go with syllables when I'm figuring out words and everything. So anyway, that's usually my planning, but I had an hour and a half to write that song and whatever. And so then I'll put it on voice thing into my notes and I'll be like, Big Purple Beam. So it says it correctly. I'm going to keep on looking. I sound so dumb in my car. Yes. So anyway, there's my thought process, I guess.
Well, you took the world by storm.
Yeah.
It's a great thought process because we went to the Deuce and Mo live show, and we were blown away with just how you guys were able. We were like there, and we were still singing "Shut Up, Light the Beam" like on the way home. I was like, damn, this is like they know their stuff.
That night
was
fun.
his song,
that was
by the way.
Very fun night.
By the way,
very fun
thank
night.
you for supporting us.
Yes.
Always, and being there
Absolutely.
and everything.
Absolutely.
But also, like, you're acting like we're Deuce did make up "Shut Up and Light the Beam." I will say that. And then I tweaked the lyrics. But you guys are entertainers and singers, and you make up your own songs. Should I give Sir Elton John the credit, or is it all of you?
It's a team effort.
I mean, we like to just do stuff that we think is funny. And obviously we gained a lot of inspiration from the both of you guys.
That's sweet.
And once when the Kings are doing good, I mean, it's hard not to,
Sometimes you get a little Maroon 5 in your head. You start humming
exactly.
Fireflies by Owl City, and you're like, wait, I could throw in Doug Christie in this song.
It just naturally happens. It just naturally happens.
And it's like fireworks like come out of the beam and all this stuff.
We were doing this before like we had a camera is the thing.
Yeah,
we were just buddies in middle school and high school, and we would just not necessarily sing, but we would kind of chop it up.
We always would just try to make each other laugh, and once we decided to record our Kings conversations that we have on all the time.
Love it.
It just all kind of we're like, what's another thing we could do?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of like what we've done.
And I love it because I try to remind myself, even during like the tough times with the team, is like, it's basketball, it's fun. Like, I cannot, and I know there's people who do this type of content and it's fine. I'm not hating on them, but for me personally, I can't come on after every loss and like kick and scream and be upset, because if that was the case, I'd be miserable. Okay, and I'm already low enough during losses, like during the tough times anyway.
You guys.
So if I'm just coming on like, I can't believe this, it's like, what fun, is that fun to listen to? I think part of it is, hey, people can turn on your podcast and they know you three are going to have a great conversation because you're friends.
Yep.
There's going to be a song. Yeah, the Kings have lost 4 in a row, or wow, this is not looking good, but yeah, we know this. We're Kings fans. We've been through that. At least we can come around. We can vent a little bit, laugh a little bit.
Isn't it way more fun going to a group of people or listening to a group of people that are like joyful, even in a loss, and not smug, not petty, but just like you're literally talking about a child's game.
Or
amen.
Just be, the biggest thing I always say with content is just be yourself.
Yes.
Like if you are feeling low, that, and I've had those podcasts where I'm just like, it's kind of where we started. Like, there have been times we've ended the podcast. I'm like, Morgan, like we were so serious. Like, was that even good? Like, if I was watching this after a game, like what am I? What is it? Why'd we do? Like, we need to laugh, and that's why I throw in random games every once in a while, because I try to think of inside the NBA too, with Charles, Shaq, Kenny, and EJ, where they don't go deep all the time with basketball. But here's what I know: no matter if the game was an instant classic or OKC beats Denver by 50. They're going to do some goofy shit, and that's fun. Like, and so that's kind of an inspiration too. It's like, and another thing too is just like outside of basketball, watching like comedians do podcasts and just seeing the creativity behind it. It's inspiring. Like, improv is fun. Singing is fun. Why can't we just blend all these things together?
Exactly.
Right. And like another podcast that I would say is another huge one is Part of My Take, because they do such a really good job of making it relatable to them, like Big Cat and PFT are very well known for just being like funny dudes and like also making it relatable to sports where like people are interested, invested into like moments where they are like that. So it's exactly the same thing. If you're taking your stuff too seriously, then it's like you lose out on like what really matters.
And it's hard sometimes too, because I struggle with that, where it's just like, you're serving one audience, the King's audience that we've got a decent following with, but we're also trying to expand to NBA. So like
we want to be informative while like also having fun. And so sometimes that's why Deuce, like after some of these, he'll go straight X's and O's, and I'm like, and I'm down with it too. Like, and we'll go X's and O's, and then he'll be like, after the pod, were we fun enough? Were we? Hey, were we fun enough? And then if we were too fun on a podcast, after the podcast goes off, he'll be like, I didn't get to this, and oh my God, the offensive rebounds. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I'm an overthinker sometimes.
Yes.
I'm at my best when I'm just loose and talking. But
see what I have to go through?
Yeah, that reenactment was unbelievably inaccurate. When do I ever talk like that?
We're putting a hidden camera going inside the podcast room.
That's clear.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, we've had those moments too where, we ride the highs, like, we won the lottery. When we lose, sometimes we've had our moments where we've been a little too upset. For example, Marvin Bagley.
In our
final loss of the game, we blamed it on him somehow. It all turned back to him.
And like all the comments were like, yeah, you can see right there.
Wow.
There's some punch marks.
Yeah, there's a little punch mark.
It happens.
So
but that's what makes it fun. But then after we click end on the podcast, we're like, I'm so glad we did that.
And every episode we're like, dude, that was like a lot of fun.
We had fun.
That was like our favorite episode.
Yeah, we see that almost after every single one we did. We're like, you know what? That's actually my new favorite.
This community,
and that's the biggest thing you can do is just have fun with it, because like, even when we first started doing that during the pandemic, it was like, we would go live, there'd be like 4 people watching, like, but you didn't care, because it was like, we're having fun, and like that's all there is to it. Like, I never got in this business when I wanted to be like in the broadcasting or podcasting. I wasn't like, I want to be famous someday. It's like, no, I just love the fact that like you could make a living talking about basketball, and I can talk about my favorite team. Like, that's what I want to do
what I love the most while still finding a way to get paid.
Like that's I'm not in this. I think when people are trying to like, they're trying so hard to be famous, it's like you're not in it for the right reasons. Sure. The main thing, have the passion, love basketball, have fun, and guess what? The audience will come.
Yeah.
And we learned it. I mean, this past season was our inaugural season, right? As a podcast, and it was definitely had a lot of down times and a lot of down things to talk about during the season with the trade and the firings, but it just showed us how special this community was and how engaged our viewers were still through those down times, and it built that kind of community of everyone just kind of healing together. And and it makes you think about, like, once we start doing good, how much more fun it would be. But we still had fun with those trials and tribulations.
And that being consistent with it is like key.
Yes.
You guys are gonna, like, you guys were committed to it.
And with your content too, I wanted to say, because you guys, like, your podcast is fun, but also with all the other content that you produce, it's like, yes, it's not just about one thing. Like, keep doing, and don't do it for the wrong reasons. And you can tell that you enjoy it all. Like when you're out there on the street or outside in Doko and everything.
Videos,
you guys are so good at that stuff. So no, I'm happy that you got to feel like the ups and downs. And if it's all really worth it to you, then you'll keep going. You'll keep, and by the way, there could come a time in life changes, and you go like, oh, this isn't fun anymore, but this is. You know what I mean? And it's like, always just make sure that you're genuine with how you feel. And I don't know why I'm giving you advice right now, so I'm gonna stop.
No, this is great life advice.
You guys have been through everything.
But it applies to, we have to remind ourselves of this a lot too. Yes. It's not just like, oh, we're preaching. It's like, for us, it's true.
That's me talking to
and
myself.
you do learn about, like, okay, you have to be more creative during the tough times too, because it's like, again, like, you don't want to just be the place where we're just
doom
all pissed. You want to have fun with it. And I think the audience appreciates that, especially if you're doing it during the tough times. The people, like, if you guys were launching the podcast this year and they won 55 games, it'd be a lot of fun. But like, the fact that you guys dealt with like the highs and lows, a lot of lows this year, feel like, oh, they were doing it when it was tough.
We picked the best. We picked the best year. It was the best year because we had high standards, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, the team had high standards. Then we go through this big ass ride, and then it's like, well, we're still doing this. You know, we're still having fun. Yeah, we're having fun.
That's all. Yeah. And we're like,
exactly.
Like, how boring would it be to be a Golden State Warriors fan and always talk about winning?
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, couldn't be me either. Could not be me either.
No, like how you said how like you got to find like fun in the bad times. Like that is, I feel like when we did like our most creative stuff is when like when Mike Brown got fired. I went in the backyard and I recreated all of Mike Brown's moments and I put sad music in the background, and that was like. I instantly felt better. Like I was like,
it's therapy too,
and everyone like connected with it. And then like when De'Aaron Fox got traded, me and RT, we sat there and we had all his jerseys changing, and we made a song about De'Aaron Fox getting
the bad
traded.
day one,
and then it resonated with people too. And it's like.
It was crazy because
I think the best times for us have naturally come when the team has been.
Yeah, it was crazy because when we were filming content over by Doko, there was like a kid that was like that saw us and was like singing the song. Like, wow, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like, oh dang, like these kids are into it.
I was like, we're not Chapel Mo, but thank you so much.
Oh yeah, yeah, you told the kid that, right?
I just set him straight. On the topic of podcasting, I know you guys talked about like you guys listen to comedians and you know you gain some inspiration from inside the NBA on TNT, but what is your Mount Rushmore of podcast shows?
Oh man, this is
if 4 is too much, you could
No, I mean I can do this faster.
Well, you know it's funny. For me. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
I really want to shove up there, and for huge reasons, mostly because of inspiration, would be now they used to be the starters on NBA TV, but they're No Dunks podcast. Yeah. And those guys, the OGs to podcasting with your friends, having fun, talking hoops, and actually watching it all. So like they're up there for so many of those reasons. And then Rick Glassman, Take Your Shoes Off podcast.
He's hilarious.
Just one of the best. He's so
That's
creative.
on my list too. Tyso, they call it. He is so creative and just fun, and he loves bits, and it is like when you watch so much basketball, like literally during the seasons, basketball all the time. It's the nice break, and you're like, oh yeah, have fun. And he does a great job.
Yeah. Also, Bad Friends podcast is going to be
Bobby
on both
Lee.
of ours. Yeah.
And Andrew Santino.
Oh my God.
Santino is. I like people who can be silly, and improv is so fun. I mean, people's ability just to be on the fly and think of good bits, and they also work with some good people. Like we randomly had met some of them too that like work within the podcast, and it's like they're good people, they work with good people. So like when you kind of find that out too about people you like, or you like their actual craft and what they do, it makes it that much better. So yeah, Bad Friends is up there. I love Zach Lowe's back now, which is a huge win. Huge. Love me some Zach Lowe.
The low post.
And look, Bill Simmons, I feel like Bill Simmons is more of a casual than ever, and it's fine. But I do really enjoy Simmons and Russillo during the NBA playoffs. Mm-hmm. It's fun. Just like, throw them in the lawn and listen to what they're thinking and
grab a beer.
What's that?
He still has a soothing voice for sure.
Yeah. Super, and he cracks me up too because like I take notes during games for sure. I do, but he's very much like takes every note possible. He's like, at the 7:34 mark, Chris Finch goes with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and you're just like, did you really need to like note down exactly when that substitution happened? Like, did that really change the game? He's just funny with his details, but I dig the passion too.
Those are them pretty much. And I mean, I could be missing some, but.
So on the topic of basketball related podcasts, they call it the new media with, every NBA player, creating their own podcast. Which ones have you guys gravitated towards? And then a follow question, which Kings players would you like to see have a podcast?
Paul George's podcast.
Yes.
Rest in peace, right?
No.
He stopped doing it.
But
he took a hiatus.
Yes. Yeah, a hiatus.
Why? He had so much free time this year. I thought he could have.
Okay.
He could have been more.
Now you're just being a dick. Mind the game. But now it had to change.
Steve Nash.
It would have been Old Man in the 3, but then
I really like JJ's podcast. I'm a big JJ Reddit guy.
I'm a big JJ
I know,
guy too.
but that's why now it's Mind the Game, Steve Nash, LeBron. I'm trying to think of players that are actually currently doing it. I love
You a big Draymond Baron Davis fan?
That's an interesting one. They just don't put no effort in there. We have a background. You guys have a background. Yeah. Why is Draymond Green? Why does he have a blank wall? It just makes me mad every time.
I do hearing LeBron and JJ, and then now LeBron and Nash. I nerd out on these hoopers, talking specifics about plays and talking about what worked, what didn't work, or evaluating their fellow players in the league. Yeah. It's just cool. I nerd out on that stuff. I love that. What was the question? Oh, what Kings players on a podcast?
I mean, Malik Monk would just be an open
Malik
book.
and Keegan would be very interesting.
That would be amazing.
I think Malik could get Keegan to open up a little bit.
Okay, that's your reasoning.
Might be the only guy on the team to maybe be able to get Keegan to talk.
Yeah.
Keegan has a lot to talk about. He doesn't express himself too much. I feel like people would listen.
Yeah. I mean, people would be excited if they heard, what? Keegan's doing a podcast?
We were joking that, how funny would it be if Keegan Murray was on the starting 5 on Netflix?
Oh, they just follow him.
They follow Keegan Murray. That would have been, that would be most watched television right there.
Now I'm going to bed. Good night. I don't know. That was stupid, Keegan.
He gets a FaceTime with Chris Murray and be like, hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, it's good too. Good night.
Yeah, that's it.
How's Portland?
I'd still watch, you guys. I'd still watch.
We all would watch. I mean, we'd be tapped in.
Yeah. But no, that would pretty much be it. I don't think anyone else right now. No.
So now back to your guys' podcast, who would be a dream Kings or just a dream guest for you guys to have on? We've had De'Aaron and Rasay in studio, Keon Ellis.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any others potentially in the works, or are you
we haven't even tried yet. We haven't. That's all. We haven't.
I know.
Maybe it's because this is how the year went. I'm just what do you want me to talk about with you? Hey, how'd last year go? That's interesting. I mean, I really want Keegan Murray on our podcast. That's one I've been trying. I've been trying for 2-3 years on this. And I hope one day it happens because I do feel like we could get something out of him. That's always my goal. Because when we had Davion Mitchell on a couple of years ago, I think we went into, I think most people are like, oh, he's kind of a quiet guy. And he was on our podcast and
he was just
blabbermouth.
Yeah,
breaking down players. I'm like, I love that. He's got a great personality.
And he's a hooper. He loves obviously the grind, the game.
Trust your work.
So that was fun.
And then Keon was really fun too. I thought Keon was really fun.
I loved how much he talked. At first I was like, okay, we don't know what we're going to get out of him. And he was just so talkative. Yeah. He's so humble, so nice. I'm like, okay. This is perfect.
I think Keegan is up there. Malik would be fun to talk to, too.
Malik would be fun.
I feel like Malik would never do it, but...
Yeah.
I feel like with Malik, you'd be able to have a more, fun conversation with him. Yeah. I feel like it's possible. I mean, it's definitely... I don't know. I feel like you guys could finagle your way into make something.
I wanted because that's the one thing. Some of these people, these players may look at it like, I don't want to do an interview, and I try to sell it we have to. We're just hanging out talking hoops. We're not going to be like, all right, so let's take us back to when Mike Brown got let go. How are you feeling? We're not going to do obviously there's a lot of stuff that happened, but I want to talk to someone about their journey, about specifics about the game. It doesn't have to be the traditional, hey, take us back to what happened in that Dallas game in the play-in. I mean, you can hit on some of that stuff, but I like to dig a little deeper and learn more about their backgrounds and, why did they love the game? Why did they fall in love? When did they know they were going to get to that next level?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like storytelling. I like hearing, the full story. Everyone deserves their story to be told. On the topic of interviews, you guys have done so many. Now, you guys have done so many, sit-down interviews now. They're shorter. Obviously, the podcast, they would be, hour and a half plus. But you guys, recently Doug Christie with you, Deuce, and then Morgan with Scott Perry, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Have you ever been nervous going into any of these type of interviews? Because, you got the bright lights on you. A lot of people are going to see it.
So the Doug one was interesting. I've known Doug for a long, long time. I'm not nervous about talking to him, but the setup was so interesting. Usually if we're doing an interview, it's us right, in our podcast studio or on NBC, it's right after the game, the camera's on you, whatever. We're at the practice facility there must have been 6 to 7 people just standing around watching.
Yeah, behind.
And I don't know. And I,
it's weird to have a conversation with someone when it's like this isn't an interview. I want to have a conversation, and Deuce had to do that with 6 people.
Yeah, it was so I felt a little nervous energy with all these people watching. I'm like, are they judging my questions? Why are they standing here right now watching this? But I'm also like one of those people that I like being able to hear myself, especially during interviews. He
loves himself.
I don't know if it's a musical genius. I don't know if it's a confidence thing to be able to hear yourself.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
I don't know the science behind it. I don't know the theories behind it. But in my head, I'm mic'd up. I can't hear myself. I can't hear Doug.
And it's a quiet gym, not a room. It's a gym.
So that was. I don't get nervous, but that was one of the. I walked away from that interview telling Morgan, I'm like, oh, I did not feel good about that.
And I heard some of it because I was back there too, and I was like, no, it was good. I was like, you both were definitely in your quiet mode, but like also Doug wants to be taken seriously as a coach, and isn't gonna get like all, hey, we know each other,
Well, and I wasn't expecting that, but it was just also I had like my paper with questions. The paper like fell down. I'm just like, oh, what do I do with this paper? Like, am I supposed to remember all these questions? But no, that was it. I think we were slightly nervous about the De'Aaron one.
No, not we. You. Deuce would literally like go to the window, go, oh my God, okay, wait, they're here. Okay, wait, like, should we go in there? Should we go over here? Where should we go? And I'm like, human beings. You could just tell, like, and it was so funny. Like, I felt like you were disarmed in that one within minutes of actually starting, like when we started asking.
Once you're that's the thing. Once you're in that's our home field there. Like you feel comfortable.
Home court advantage. You're there.
Yeah. Like I'm in my safe spot. Like if Doug was in our studio doing a podcast, I'm so chill. But it's just, I don't know why that was, but you had all these Channel 3 people watching, you had PR people, you had this Morgan standing there. It's like,
thanks.
Why are all these people around right now? Go away.
I don't think I've gotten nervous in a while with an interview. Which, by the way, I don't think that makes... I think I just now try and put it in my head like, well, if I give any nervous energy, they might have a nervous energy. So, like, how do I figure that out? And I just go, you're literally just talking to people. And I always pretend on the other side of the camera, it's just my mom and dad. Like, it's literally just my mom and dad. And so then it keeps me professional enough, so my mom, it's not like my mom would be like, why'd you say that? It's like, okay, oh yeah, shoulders back. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. And so no, I kind of go about that thinking, but I would say, I guess maybe the last one would be when Chris Webber joined our pregame show, and I was a little shaky meeting him, but not actually interviewing him. And I was just like, I've met him before, and I'm still like,
I mean, I think I'd be nervous if I was around those guys all the time. Well, in the beginning, I'd be like, dude, I watch this guy on TV every day. Now I'm here talking, dude. It is, to put it into perspective how, they're just people,
Yes.
I've met a few of the players. Like when I met Sabonis, I was stumbling over my words and I was like, oh God, I'm going to play that back. I'm not going to be proud of this moment. I'm just going to play some music over or something to fix it. But yeah, I feel like you guys just do such a great job. And it's not only like, not like your traditional, like very professional, like broadcaster analyst, like the way your approach, like that you guys see on TV is just, it seems like you're just friendly.
But that's the thing, you guys, like do you love the only conversation I want to see totally professional, serious, like together is like a conversation with, I don't know, like people that lead the country or something like that, which you're not getting. But I like with sports, you're in just like, it doesn't matter if it's a GM or if it's a player or whoever, you want to make sure you're yourself and different. And that's just something that like we pride ourselves on over the years. And I think we've mostly executed, but there have been times too where we have our moments where we revert back to what we learn or whatever. Why are you laughing?
No, I was just thinking about how many times I there was one post game I gave Monk crap for missing a free throw. It makes Morgan so uncomfortable.
But it's just uncomfortable.
It's also like, again, I consciously think about these things, and I think it helps me as I think inside the NBA. because Charles, Shaq, and Kenny would joke around a little bit. And I think it's important that, and by the way, they're coming off a win. You can joke a little bit. You know what I mean?
I also say, Deuce, I go like, you're not a player. You don't know Malik personally too. And he's like talking shit about his free throws. So then the next game, Deuce goes up to Malik on the court and he goes, hey, Morgan was giving me shit. Like maybe I shouldn't have said anything. And Malik's like, no, I didn't care. Like, are you serious? Like, whatever.
So when you guys do those post-game interviews, do they can only hear you, right?
Yeah.
Or they don't see like on a screen.
No.
If you guys,
They can only hear.
Yeah, I mean,
So they
I
can't
remember
see
exactly
body language, you know?
Because I remember when you said the free throw thing, I thought it was. I think if I remember correctly, didn't Malik like laugh about it?
He did.
Yeah, he cussed like twice too.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. That's
great. Yeah, I try to have fun with those.
And guess what? It worked, and his approach is not wrong. It just wouldn't be my approach. And sometimes I'm jealous that is his approach. And I wish like I had the confidence to be like, hey, you really sucked on the free throw line tonight, huh?
That's not what I said. All I said was like, man, Malik, you're killing me with those free throws tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's what you said.
Because I feel like everyone at home was thinking that. They had to hang on for a win. I'm like, oh, might as well throw it out there.
And he took it in as from a basketball person to a basketball person, not like, oh, who's this dude just talking smack right here, you know? So it was like a respectful thing. It was cool.
Those are my favorite ones. Like doing the post game ones are fun. And when there's sometimes that like Kyle and Katie or Mark and Katie will do them, and I'm always like, God damn it, let us do it, man.
Yeah.
Why are they doing it? Let us in the studio do it.
No, you guys. No, I love when you guys are in control of the broadcast. I think that's when it's at its best.
It's fun. Even when
I
like
appreciate
Morgan
that.
Reagan's there, you know, when we walk in, I'm like, "There's Morgan Reagan." So
he's like, "Should we go wave to Morgan?"
Yeah, I've done it before. Like I brought my uncle. I'm like, "Hey, like take my uncle and just like do the tradition." I'm like, "Hey,
thank you."
Yeah, that was.
I love it because it always makes me feel like, oh, I know people, like it's my neighbors, you know, like there's just something about it that makes it less like bright lights over there too. So thanks.
That's what's wild about doing it in your hometown too, is like the amount of people. You're like, oh yeah, I went to high school with that person. I used to work with. It's like
that's my old
I feel
teacher.
Like you know everybody. Sacramento is such a tight, like small.
They're a tight community.
You go there. Every game, you're like, oh, I know you. Hey, good to see you. It's crazy.
It's my catch-up time.
Yeah.
I did want to ask a question though. Speaking of the pregame show, since both of you do your pregame show at the arena, and I know there's a lot of fans that come out with signs and like that come out and just be like, "Hey, we're gonna support you guys." Was there ever like a sign that you saw that was like, "Oh snap, this is like super creative"? Was there like a moment from like the fans that you interacted with that was like, "Holy crap, these are like legitimate fans"?
Well, there definitely have been, and like people make us stuff and friendship bracelets and things like that, and it's like the coolest thing in the world.
That's cool.
But I would say like an iconic one, just this one stands out. Sign Lady made us a sign. Thank you for that reaction. Cool. Like I remember being like, wait, did I make it?
Sign Lady
is the greatest.
She's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
She's in the Hall of Fame.
And it was one of those things. It's like, this is so like, I could only dream of this to happen. And like, and it said Deuce and Mo, you know, whatever, but it was so cool. We have it on the back of our wall
that's
too.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be, but like otherwise that like, there's amazing fans and listeners that just like come up to us wearing merch.
That's the one when they're wearing your merch or like it's like a couple like we watch it together, you know, at night or the next morning or whatever. I'm like, oh, cool,
melts my
because
heart.
You know it's like such a male dominated like hey, basketball sports.
Like
guys only, you know, and like to see like, oh no, like we have a diverse audience and it's representative of what Sacramento is, and I love that.
Diverse, and I think that's like a huge important thing too. Is like having that diverse culture, having that diverse community, regardless of where you're from, where your background is. Like all people, like there's a unity that comes in, and that's like rooting for a professional team in sports that like brings many people together, right?
And
I know the A's.
we almost lost them.
Twice. You know, twice. Yeah.
Well, and that's why that the 22-23 season was so special because no one expected them to be that good going into the year, right? Winning 48 games, the number 3 seed. But the come up, the high of like, oh, like the game against the Clippers, a double OT game, like literally not one of the best Kings games, like one of the best NBA games I've ever witnessed. 176-175, or going to the airport when they got back after they clinched it.
That was so much fun. We were there that night.
Yeah,
so much fun.
We had to.
And then like going out I remember we went and saw the beam for the first time once they clinched, because where we park we don't get to see the beam, so the first year we didn't see it until they clinched, and we went out and we're like, oh my god, they've got champagne. I'm like, we clinched the playoffs.
You had the King's hat on. Yep.
And then I went to the airport after, but it was just like, it felt so special, and it was like something that not many markets would do.
No,
you know,
not at all.
I hesitate when I go, hey, like, we've got the best fans, because that's what every fan base says. I put our fan base against any other NBA fan
100%.
base just because no one has been through what we've all been through.
Yep.
They've been in Sacramento 40 years and 11 winning seasons? Or wait,
10?
Is it 10 winning seasons? Yes, 8 straight.
Right. 8 straight with Adelman.
And then the 2, you had the 48 win, 46. So 10 winning seasons in 40 years. Okay. And 11.
Think about that.
25%.
And 11 playoff appearances in 40 years.
Yeah.
But
And
the loyalty, the pride.
Fans that are there, and not only that are there, like jump on the floor for a loose ball, you get a standing O. This isn't like you're not going to New Orleans where, and I'm not meaning to talk bad about any other fan base, more just about the lack of people in the arena. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like when you're selling tickets for $2, begging people to come. Again, no offense to them, I'm just using them as an example. It's like that happens everywhere, but in Sacramento, when has that dip really happened, right?
Yeah, and like I think even during the tough times, you appreciate like the fact that we can speak kindly about Marcus Thornton, because
we were just talking about him last night.
Yeah, it's just like,
or Beno Udrih.
dude, Beno, man.
We had him as our point guard. No Sione. The list goes on. We always talk about how,
it's like, even when we were losing, people were still passionate, showing up to games, and you got to still talk to fans.
The moments of hope throughout the years, followed by immense letdown, has been incredible. Obviously, the Tyreek season when you had Caspi, John Brockman, like there's a moment you're like, dude, I don't know, man, the Brockness monster, what a steal.
Yeah. Eugene Pujetter the next year. One of my favorite role player point guards of all time.
And then, just there have been those moments of hope, but that 22-23 season was just so magical, because it felt like we had all seen, you guys were, had never really seen a fun team, all right? And like to see that and to see the community come together the first year of the beam. And that's why it's such a shame that like it fell apart so fast.
Yeah, but again, it happened, and so never forget it. Bottle it up. Do what you can.
That's why I always say
cherish
the moments, because you just don't know how long it's going to last. Truly. In this league, it can change fast for good or bad.
For so many teams, yeah.
So just enjoy it. And that's why that year I'm like, I'm soaking this up. And I remember after they got eliminated from the playoffs, she felt it too. We're doing so much content. We're going to all the games. When it was over, it felt like we almost,
and I'm not making fun of depression or putting that out lightly. There was a literal depression that I felt because I wasn't going. And I remember just being on the couch, being like my body not feeling like it could get up physically and mentally. I couldn't think about doing anything productive. I remember what's happening. And it was the emotions, the wave of emotions that happened once it was over. It was a weird feeling. It was a gray cloud, but it was like that was fun. What do I feel now? It was just like coming down. Man.
No, that's a great way to put it. Oh, yeah, that season, unbelievably magical. But back on that point, I just wanted to add, what other arena will be chanting Yogi Ferrell?
Dude.
No one else, no other arena in the NBA would ever
Yogi Ferrell, dude.
The original Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
So we have some fun questions lined up next, but before we do that, we have to address the breaking news that Morgan Reagan has got the job as the color commentator for the Valkyries, the San Francisco Valkyries.
Interesting. That's interesting, you guys.
What?
I don't know. You just got that Joe Lacob money now. Just call it the way it is.
Pulled this line so many times, and it's so
whose side are you on?
No,
I'm kidding.
So
I wish it was the Monarchs. I'll say that.
Yeah.
We all wish it was the Monarchs.
Yeah, Sacramento deserves a WNBA team, but the fact that Northern California has a team again, and back in the day the Bay Area didn't have a team. So many people from the Bay Area came to Sacramento to watch the Monarchs. A great fan base, and that same fan base is like, we got basketball back.
Yes.
And it's great.
Yes.
Like the other night, as I speak for you,
yeah, thank you.
talk about your moment.
Please, man.
I mean,
please.
I had it on the second screen so I could watch her and like send her like critiques and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but,
not as much love as it was critiques. Like, you can't screw up that name, Morgan.
But 18,000 people at the Chase Center for that preseason game. Sparks and Valkyries.
That's huge.
But shout out to Morgan because like the fact that you've wanted to be a color analyst and you've done it at the G League level, now to do it in the WNBA in this time where the league's finally getting the recognition it deserves is really cool.
Thanks, Deuce. Yeah, and like I mean, every time that we talk about what our ultimate goals are, our ultimate goals have always been to be play-by-play in color in the NBA one day. You know, like that would just be like our dreams. And so like when this opportunity came up and I got to work my way into being the color analyst for the Golden State Valkyries, the coolest thing is that they're purple. And so now when anyone asks, they go, "Oh no, are you a trade?" I go, "Sweetie, I bleed purple in the NBA season. I bleed purple in the WNBA season."
Let's go!
Don't get it twisted.
And honestly,
forever bleeding purple.
Very smart of the Valkyries to make their branding those colors for a couple of reasons.
Yes.
Have your own identity, because then you're like, if you're just the Warriors, it'd be like, oh, cool, you're like the Lady Warriors. You know what I mean? It's like, no, have your own look, but also go, hey, we'll take some of that Monarchs vibe and put it here.
Oh yeah,
because it was
the logo,
a
the colors,
fan base here, and it is so smart that they, are
won
trying
a championship.
I mean,
only championship.
Literally,
Griffin, Finals MVP.
Some amazing players came through Sacramento.
Well, that too, and we talked to Jerry Reynolds even the other day about some of those special players, and we were like, who was the best though? And he's like, Yolanda Griffith, and so I mean, he said like Tisha's like right there and everything, but he's like. But
Rebecca Brunson was a baller.
I mean, she was.
Oh,
you can
so
go
good.
down a list. Carol Lawson
was phenomenal. Yeah,
you guys, the fact that like I know it's not right here in Sacramento, but the fact that like even for me that I get to be a part of this is the coolest thing in the world because. I said it the other night. I'm like, representation matters. And I saw so many little girls in there. And I mean, by the way, little boys, little girls. But when I see myself in these little girls watching, cheering on basketball right in front of them in their town, it literally is what changed my life and who I am today. And I wouldn't be who I am without basketball, without the Monarchs, without the Kings. And so now the fact that I get to do my dream freaking job right around the corner from Sacramento is I'm just so honored to be a part of this, and I'm excited. And so thank you.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. I would do.
Was completed.
Yeah, full. Because I have one question to ask you. Is there like any WNBA player that you're most looking forward to cover, to watch in person, to cover, to analyze?
Well, what's funny is that Chelsea Gray, for both of us, no joke, you guys.
Oh my God.
Before she came on the Kings broadcast, she was our favorite player. Like we both, because she's just a hooper. Like, and we were talking about current favorite player. Sometimes I don't even think she gets the amount of love that she deserves. Like her vision is just absolutely elite. She's clutch. She's energy. She's like she can make defensive, even if she's not the fastest one out there, she'll make defensive plays where she's poking the ball away, hand in the passing lane. Like she's just IQ to the limit. And so we were like, oh, we love Chelsea Gray, blah, blah. And we fell in love with the Aces because we didn't have the Monarchs. So we were like, we're going to follow the Aces, and we promoted that to everyone.
Gosh.
I know. And it was
Jackie Young.
It's incredible. Like the style of basketball is wonderful. And then Chelsea came on the Kings broadcast, and Deuce and I are like, holy shit.
And she's the best. Like, she is a great person.
She's like, loves Deuce. She like makes fun of me and then like loves Deuce. I'm like, what the hell do I do to deserve this? So.
And she showed you love at the Deuce and Mo live show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Like sometimes I'm just like, how are you even my friend? This is the coolest thing. So, I mean, obviously watching Chelsea Gray would be awesome, but I would say like, if I was going to pick someone on the Valkyries, there's something about Tiffany Hayes I gravitate to. And like I know she's like getting older, she's a veteran, brings a different type of like spunk and energy that is just exciting to the floor, and I think to this team that is not supposed to be very good this year, but at the same, I think Natalie Nakase, their head coach, is going to bring out something different in them to give people to stand up for.
You have to be also excited to see Caitlin Clark in person.
You have to.
I mean, there's the juice she has given to this game.
You know,
like the preseason game the other day at Iowa. She was. I mean, they were taking on Brazil, and like it was just cool. It was just what a joy.
There's many players, right?
I
like
know.
There's a lot of players that have just. There's a laundry list of players that
100%.
NBA is in a great spot.
But I hear what you're saying, because the talent has been there. Caitlin has brought the eyeball, so people go, oh, it's not just the Caitlin Clark show. There's talent all across the league.
And
Asia,
now people are finally giving it the love that it deserves, even though it's like, it's the same thing. Someone even asked me about that. They're like, yeah, are you excited that women's basketball is finally like being like this and that? And it's like, or like the talent is just crazy now. And I'm like, no.
It's been good.
It's always been like that.
Yes.
It's always been like that way ever since, the WNBA started, right?
Yeah.
Lisa Leslie was like the pioneer of just making the game accessible to people like that. Then you go from Candace Parker, then you go from Yolanda Griffin to Maya Moore. Like the lineage is like all the way there.
Wow, no respect for the Houston Comets.
Yeah, and Cheryl Swoops too. Yeah, Cheryl Swoops. How could I forget? How could I forget?
Rebecca Lobo.
Rebecca Lobo. We could be talking about WNBA all day long.
No, so anyway, it is exciting to be a part of it, and I really hope that like even people within our community start to like take note and watch a little bit too. So I need to keep growing and getting better and better. I'm always excited to work on my craft. Deuce the other night was texting me a whole bunch of critiques, which was so wonderful to get by the half. To read over and make sure I corrected them by the second half. But I would expect nothing else from him, and he wants greatness. Yes, sir.
Hey, that's what you got to do. That's all it is. It all starts with that.
Transform from there.
Well, just to be clear, so when we doing NBA games, like we watch so much NBA and we watch the WNBA, but when you're a color analyst for a WNBA, like
it's different.
The fans are hardcore too. The fans are there, and then you have all these new people too. You want to like respect the game to another level, and there's things you have to. You watch 82 Kings games plus NBA. We would watch like Aces game or some of the big games. You aren't like locked in every single night following a team. So you have to learn the league.
It's so
more.
different.
And so it's different. And so my thing is like base level. What I've learned in broadcasting. Do not mess up names. Do not mess up. We've all done it.
Yeah.
How on earth do the top, like ESPN guys still pronounce like Antetokounmpo wrong? Like that blows my mind.
You're right. And there's a lot of
actually crazy to me.
Yeah.
I agree. And that to me is just people not putting in the work or the time to actually, care to get it right, or think that they're too good for that anyway. And hey, nobody cares anyway. I try to pretend that every single mother of every single player is listening. And like that's something we've done in the G League. All these
because that's literally who's watching the games. To be honest, I'm not hating on the G League, but let's be honest. There's NBA games, there's college games. There's not that many people watching us in the G League, and I've never cared about that. To me, it's like it's about getting the reps. We approach it like it's Game 7 of a playoff game. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna uplift. We're gonna tell these stories. And you're right. Families watch this shit. The referees' families watch.
They all come up and say something to us after, like, hey, thank you so much for this. And oh my God, thank you for, And that one time someone came up to Deuce and said, why do you care so much about getting the names right? Anyway, nobody's watching. And Deuce and I just approached him like, I don't give a shit if one human being is watching. I don't care. We act like 1 million and billion people are watching.
That the whole earth is watching that specific game.
Yeah, you have to treat it
Gotta give it that love and respect. And that's what we try to do.
You pour it in. That's how you get the attention that you get it. Be
a player's only time on TV.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations again.
Thanks.
I think this is a perfect transition into some fun. Not yet. Fun question.
Whoa.
Sorry. No bathroom
More
break right
confetti?
now. No bathroom break right now. I want to ask you, Deuce.
No lunch break either.
We are doing back to a Mount Rushmore type question.
Okay.
We all know that you love the WWE.
Do you have to pee that bad?
You have to pee.
Because I have to pee too, but like we can.
we'll figure it. We're
Okay.
good. We're good.
Okay, sorry.
Here, so we'll do the WWE question first.
Just felt bad. I know that feeling.
So the WWE
It's okay.
question.
It's all right.
I had to get this out because we all know your love for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your top 4 favorite wrestlers, or top 3? Keep it simple. Top 3 favorite wrestlers, and which former or current Kings player would be legendary in the WWE today?
Okay, a couple of things. I'm glad you brought this up. Just real fast sidebar. Wrestling also inspires me. It's to see the command. You're putting on a show when you're doing a podcast or you're doing a live show. You're putting on a show, and so there's a lot of wrestling influence when I do a show because I'm like, yeah, dude, grab that mic.
Yeah, there is
And
sometimes too much.
the fog, anything,
I'm like,
like,
people don't understand why
I
you're
don't care.
snarling. And he's like, it's WWE.
It's a
Like,
show.
It's The Rock.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I love wrestling. Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, and who would be what Kings
Which
players?
Kings, former or current,
Oh
would
my
make
God,
it? Would
dude.
make it?
Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, so hard. This is literally just a list of, I guess, my favorite, not necessarily the best. Stone Cold.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Legend.
I'm young. I'm 5th grade. Just growing up, by the way, in elementary school. Shout out Albert Schweitzer, Carmichael. I've loved wrestling. You know Albert Schweitzer? Oh, okay.
That's a good guy.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't even say it. What happens if he's not a good guy?
Oh, yeah. Great point.
I'm just shouting out the school, not
Okay,
necessarily the
shout
person.
out-
We don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Is he-
listen,
is
shout
he
out
problematic?
Detterding Elementary. You know.
I played
There you
that.
go.
I played hoops there in that little hoop house.
They got the little hoop out there. Yep.
Yeah, I used to live right there.
Yeah, there you
then I
go.
went to Barrett, Del Campo.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yep.
let's go.
Anyway, yep.
Let's go.
That's where the 2 schools are. It's
Yeah.
Detterding and then Schweitzer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, but everyone at school, they didn't like it then.
Yeah.
Until
It was
98.
inappropriate, though, too.
Until 19, not then. It
Okay.
wasn't. It got
Oh.
popular in like 98, 97, 98 with the NWO and WCW, DX, Austin, all that stuff. I got cooler in school in the 5th grade because I knew everything about wrestling. So all the kids are coming, tell me about this storyline. Dude, I felt so awesome because for years it was like, oh, you like wrestling? And then I became like, oh,
cool
that guy
kid.
knows wrestling.
Deuce was
So
one of the
Stone
kids that
Cold-
would go around and be like,
Suck it.
Yeah. And yes, the
Okay.
troubled kid.
I think growing up, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
Before that, Bret Hart, Bret Hitman Hart, dude. I used to I would have dreams. He'd wear those glasses. I don't know if you guys know anything about Bret Hart. He'd wear these glasses, and he'd always give them to a kid ringside. Wow! As he came out, and I always wanted to be that kid.
And he never
bad.
was that
I
kid.
thought that's what you're
No,
going into.
come on, no.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
wear 'em
wish.
every day
I
to
wish,
this day.
dude. The sharpshooter. Oh, The Rock has to be up there.
Yeah,
I mean, his
yes.
ability just to command a room, grab that mic.
go.
I just love it, dude. And to this day, this guy comes out and
Which is
everybody
so
loves
crazy.
him.
He does not need to do this, but he does.
The final boss.
He's in it. Yeah, he's in
The
it.
last one's tough. I don't know. Ric Flair's up there from his old days. Triple H. Man,
Yeah, why wouldn't it be Triple
Taker.
H?
You a Rey Mysterio fan?
No, not really. I mean, I appreciate his journey.
Any of the current guys right now?
Yeah.
Any Roman
I
Reigns?
know if I put a current guy up there, acknowledge the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Well, this he's kind of taking a break. I went to AEW after, but Daniel Bryan, aka Bryan Danielson,
Yeah,
just like
right.
his passion for wrestling, his desire. He left WWE not because he was like chasing money. It's like, no, I just want to wrestle more, and I'm going to go to AEW and just do my thing. And when I'm done, I'm done. So I guess Daniel
What
Bryan,
about
Bryan Danielson.
that group that you like? The 2 guys, the FTR?
Yeah, they're not on my Mount Rushmore. No.
They're
I know that's
climbing
really
the rock.
hard.
They're climbing the
4
rock.
is tough.
They haven't made it on
And
there
then,
yet.
God,
Yeah.
I spent like 30 minutes talking wrestling.
I
just
know,
now.
and
I'm
everyone
sorry.
has to pee.
I'm sorry. I've thought about this with the Kings.
What?
There's one answer. Who would be like the best wrestler? Like,
DeMarcus?
no, I'm talking about current.
Oh.
Valachunas. Let's go. That's what I was thinking.
Big
That's what I was
JB.
thinking.
Because one, you
He
think
has
of
the
wrestlers,
size.
some of the size, like
Yep.
think about like Big Show, some of the giants that came through. He could play like he could almost be like the bodyguard for a smaller guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or he could play like a Viking, like with that when they do the music. What?
We're not giving him a corny character.
Okay.
Like he's coming out like a badass.
Like jeans with no shirt on?
no, he's probably wearing like a suit when he comes out the first time when we first introduce him.
That's incredible.
Just like this badass. Like, what's he? Is he an assassin?
Oh, we've 2 different perspectives.
And then when he grabs the mic, like he's very like his words are impactful.
Yeah.
just short and sweet.
Oh,
You know,
He can grow out the hair too, like he did, like in the earlier seasons, where he can
Ooh,
like
and
grow,
slick it back?
like slick it back. Yeah, like he had the slick back hair.
he's a big dude, and
Yeah.
he moves all right. Like he could lay in some chops.
would he be a heel?
I think he would start as a heel.
I think he'd have to.
You gotta
Okay.
start at it. You gotta be
but-
like that, like that asshole boss, you know, that's like the suit and just like doesn't take like crap from anybody. And then once like fans like understand the story, then he's like, yeah, I have like a little sweet spot, you know.
Well, back in the day, quick wrestling lesson. So Shawn Michaels had a bodyguard. His name was Diesel. Who turned out to be. You know Diesel at all?
No, they just
We call him Teasel.
Do you guys know who Diesel is?
No, I don't.
Kevin Nash.
Wait, is Kev? Oh, I know who
Diesel ended up being
God,
down
we're
there.
so
He started
old.
in the background. He eventually became a champion. Left the company to go to WCW. Was part of one of the biggest, really cultural moments that you guys should know, but it's fine. When Hulk Hogan turned heel and joined, they put together the NWO with Hall and Nash.
Yeah,
All right, we're done talking about this.
it
I'm
looked like
sorry.
you started.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know how passionate he is about this, so I needed it needed its own
It's so
spotlight.
fun to just hear Deuce just like talk about WWE.
I think we would be
I'm just
doing
like,
a disservice.
I'm
if we
like,
didn't
damn,
bring
I
it
want to watch WWE now.
No, he literally he's the reason why like I even became intrigued with WWE, because he is so good with the storytelling of the actual storytelling that happens, and it made me appreciate these athletes, you know, doing whatever they need to do while doing it live. It's a live performance. It's theater except in a ring.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
It's not fake.
Let them know.
Let him know.
Okay, so the next order of business, we are going to be doing something very fun. We don't need this anymore.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, are we having a wrestling match?
We have something planned for you.
Okay.